Hello, and thank you for joining us on the Igniter NFL Pickem Show. Featuring a master of head nodding, Jamison Wall. Sleazy Carson Daly lookalike, Trevor Hills. I'm Scott, your producer who will master YouTube, sir. And now, a being of pure light and energy who cannot be created or destroyed. Bask in his illuminating pontifications, David Hinson.
Thank you, Mr. Nyberg, and very excited to have our audience with us on week 10 of the Igniter NFL Pickem Show. I'm David, the captain of the ship, joined by Jamison, Scott, and Trevor Hill. Sonny on special assignment in Chicago. His company, not respecting his work-life balance, called him into a special session of the minds, a meeting of top executives, Scott, in a fast-paced environment, something you're well familiar with. And so we're going to be without Sonny's contributions tonight. We'll do our best to get through it. Jamison, I think you shortchanged him in the intro. He's also a man that has now figured out how to not kill his child. Already Parent of the Year. We have a trophy for that somewhere, Scott, I think that we're going to make for him. So excited, beyond excited to have you all here. The most fantastic football show in all the land. And we deliver it for you week after week, our loyal and growing audience. And we can't thank you enough for being here. Scotty, we got a heck of a show for you tonight. Where do you want to start, sir? What is on the program tonight?
Well, you got a lot to talk about. We got mid-season stuff, like where the pretenders are and where the real teams of destiny are. You know, is it Buffalo? Is it Minnesota? Is it going to be Baltimore? Stuff like that. We'll talk about that. Some shockers of upsets, things like that, of course. Some superstars and their excellent performances. We're going to discuss a number of things. Are the Commanders up for sale? Or is there anyone that can buy them? Who are our MVP candidates for coach and player and defensive and all that good stuff? And I think you wanted to discuss a little bit more of the Vikings second half of the season later on. But in the meantime, I suppose we'll go over some results from last week. Get that out of the way, huh?
It's your prerogative, sir. I would also like to add that we are at the halfway point of the season. Probably not the best quality of football we've seen in the last decade. It's been a wonky one. I don't know. People are just coming out of the pandemic funk. If Corona has something to do with this, I don't know. It's an interesting thing, but the quality on-field product has not been exceptional this year, which of course means that the Minnesota Vikings are 7-1 and in contention. By the way, curse these Vikings. I'm now on board and invested. I saw Kirk Thuggins dancing on an airplane, iced out of his mind, doing all sorts of weird, middle-aged dad shit. Like the embarrassing dance, it's obvious he can't keep rhythm, but now I'm invested in him. And I almost found myself smiling.
It's hard not to cheer for him, right?
I don't like it. They're picking us up to drop us. That's what they're doing. They're just playing with my emotions at this point, and I'm not real thrilled about it.
What was shinier, Kirk's gold chain or the white skin? Just the gleaming white Kirk.
I don't know. It's more of Kirk Cousins that I ever really wanted to see.
Quite a bit. Well,
as the kids say these days, it was cringe.
Was that as cringe as when Adam Schefter did it later on?
Yes,
yeah,
and then him doing that. Oh,
yeah, that was one of the worst things I've ever seen. Listen, here's what I think. I think Schefter's been looking at himself in the mirror. He's been working hard, doing the keto, doing the intermittent fasting. He got himself to a position where he felt like it was time to show off the undercarriage, and I was not impressed. So there's really no need to show that doughy midsection of yours.
You remember him doing the gritty last year when I think they were at Soldier for Monday night with the Vikings, and he just, it was the goofiest shit I've ever seen in my life.
I'm not a particular fan of Adam Schefter, so the less of him I see, the better. Though in this case, it didn't work out because he was just shedding clothing, which was not great. Definitely don't want to see that ever again. All right, so Scotty, why don't we get into the gambling results? We got a lot to talk about tonight.
Yeah, we'll get through that pretty quick.
Let's kick the tires and light these fires.
Nothing too crazy, obviously. We had that bet last week with Sonny. I bet Sonny $5 Detroit beats Green Bay. For the second time this season, I have netted $5 from a Green Bay loss. Keep them coming, I say.
Yeah, Scotty gambled nothing the first 2 years of this show, and now he's like Ace Rothstein in Casino. There's just not a bet he won't take. He's a degenerate gambler, and he's leaned fully into the lifestyle. Good for you, Scotty. Good for you, I say.
Thanks, Sonny. Well, as for pick results, though, we had another close and contentious week of football in the NFL and Igniter as well. Your boys on the panel continue to show out with big week pick totals around and rivaled the best minds in the business. CFB, of course, takes back-to-back useless Dick of the Week trophies and was left in the dust by the rest of us with only, I believe, was 5 picks correct for the week. Wah.
Good.
Not this week. He picked pretty good. We'll see. Heading into Monday Night Football, Jamison had the lead with 10. Most of us had chosen Baltimore, but Trevor had 9 and chose New Orleans. So if New Orleans could squeak out a win with high points, Trevor would win. Alas, not this one. Netting Jamison another win for the week, bringing his number of weeks 1 to 3.
Yes.
Nice work, sir.
I like it. Thank you. I hope your kid hates you.
Don't worry, it'll happen at some point. Anyway, whether it lasts is how good of a father you are, right?
Touche. Teach me your ways.
Gives Jamison 83 overall points, and that is just behind me with 84, and ahead of the Hinsons, who are tied at 76 overall. CFB
Me and Santino are tied now?
Yes, sir.
I like it. Okay.
He only had 9, I think, for the week. You had 10. I had 10. Excuse me. Trevor only had 9, I think.
Yeah, only 9 this week.
Isn't Trevor the one that the gamblers rely on for his expert analysis?
Yeah, Raiders blowing a 17-point lead was unfortunate.
Yeah, we should talk a little bit about I think we have that the Raiders, their penchant. It's happening too often where they go up big and then they shit the bed. So we will talk about that a little bit as well.
I smell coaching as the problem there.
We've been saying it all season, brother. The guy is shit. I think David has it on there. When will Josh Daniels ever go back to New England?
No, at what point will he become the offensive coordinator of the Patriots again? Well, I'm curious if that'll be week 13, right before the playoffs, if they make it.
It's definitely a shit of the week.
Yeah, he can't coach. This is his second opportunity. It hasn't been good.
No, it hasn't.
Bill's gonna say, get the peanut butter out and say, "Come to daddy," for a third time.
Well, the Bills, I wouldn't put them as much of a shit of the week as it was just a little bit surprising they actually lost that game, because it was kind of a divisional doorknob hump between them and the Jets, and they couldn't get more than 17, 20 points on either side of the ball. But it was a contentious game. Like I was saying, it might have been. They did lose, though. So that puts them at only 6, I think, for the line this week against the Vikings.
I got to be honest with you. I think that them losing was probably the best thing for them, because they're going to the playoffs and they're going to compete for a Super Bowl, most likely. So being reminded that they can't take it for granted, and I think that's the shit that, like, if that was Bill Belichick, he would have been he looks disgruntled all the time. But that's the type of shit that he takes back to the locker room and starts fucking getting up at 2 a.m. and printing out the headlines and then starts tacking them to the wall just to get under the fucking skin. Like anything that criticizes the team, why are they losing to the Jets, blah, 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 that goes up on the tack board and they just fucking harp on it over and over again. Every practice when guys are taking it easy, they bring up the Jets game. So I think that they're going to use this to fuel and drive for perfection and fucking just get nasty with it. So I actually think that losing might have been, at this point, the best thing for them, because it means nothing. Right? It means nothing for their season. They're still going to make it to the playoffs, but now they got exposed a little bit, and now they're going to have to dig a little bit deeper, which just means they're going to be better down the road. At least
there's underlying issues there with Buffalo, though. There's no balance on that team. They're just, it's give the ball to Josh Allen and let him figure it out. They have no running game whatsoever. I mean, he's pretty much their running back.
They won't need it when
they get punched
Odell
in the
Beckham
mouth. I don't know
signed.
if they can take it.
They're going to sign Odell Beckham if they haven't yet. Somebody's got to pick him up, right? He's cleared waivers at the end of the week.
Sounds like Dallas is the favorite.
That's why would he want to go there? I mean, Dak Prescott is one hangnail away from missing another 7 games.
They're the Yankees of the NFL, though, and he likes the spotlight, and they're pretty good this year. So, I mean, it's a fit. And, Jerry's going to throw him probably the most money, I would guess. So.
I guess you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You'd think at some point he would realize that the shenanigans, much like Chad Ochocinco, don't really work out. You got to put in the time. You have to fucking set aside the ego and just work. This is why I like Justin Jefferson, though. At some point, I think he's going to leave and fucking follow Stephon Diggs out to Buffalo. There's no way he stays, right?
I hope not.
It depends on the end of the season. If we end up being a championship caliber squad for years to come, he could stay.
By the way, I've been seeing a thing now on Twitter. It's trending. people asking why Green Bay has not yet traded Aaron Rodgers. So I'm not saying that we created that or I created it, though Sonny did laugh at me 2 weeks ago when I brought up the initial idea. But it is catching fire, and people are looking at actively now, how do we trade Aaron Rodgers and get a couple of picks out of him? I mean, you would even agree at this point, would you not? It's time. Get rid of the guy.
Season's lost. He doesn't want to be there.
Get the picks.
You never know who's in the media listening to this show. They might catch a nugget and just run with it.
It's definitely the right play. I would definitely shop
at
at the end of this year for sure.
He got my shitter of the week, though. Sorry, Jamison. It was 3 picks?
Yeah.
2 in the end zone. Oh dear.
I want to get quoted so bad. Per the Igniter NFL Pickem, the trade scenarios involving Aaron Rodgers. If I saw that, I don't think I've ever just come in my pants, but I might with that. Just
I might come until I pass out.
Yeah, telling Scott, fucking, he'd be jerking off to it. It wouldn't even be weird.
No, it's procedural at that point. I mean, you just got to get it out.
That's just familiar.
Attuned to that, a shock of the week kind of was how good the Jets actually played in division. And but we got to go. Let's go into the All-Stars of the week. Who's everyone's All-Star? I got Joe Mixon, 5 total touchdowns, of course. Justin
Fields for me.
Yep, had a hell of a day. Over 170 some yards running. Geez, he was crushing. Had 3 touchdowns passing as well. Only 100 and some yards passing, I think, but still, what an athlete.
There's only one All-Star that's even worth mentioning this week, and that is Mr. Thomas Wayne Brady. The man passed 100,000 passing yards, and to put that in perspective, Cool Breeze is second at about 85,000. So he's literally 15,000 yards passing past the second place guy. And he also led vintage Tom Brady a comeback with about 38 seconds and change with just a historic rate of dropped balls, I might add, in a game where he should have been about 42 of 53. And instead he was like 36 of 53, I think it was, because his players were dropping him left and right. But he engineered the comeback. So Tom Brady, by God, of course I pick against him. This is what he does. The comeback win against not a particularly impressive LA Rams team, but nonetheless went the field and
what has he played about 4 seasons worth of postseason games? Like it's got to be way up there.
Yeah, I read some stat that his postseason stats alone are better than about 70% of the quarterbacks that have played in the NFL regular season.
Yeah, you figure he's probably averaged about 3 games a year in the postseason.
Over 20 years, that's 50, probably 55, 60 games in the postseason.
That's amazing.
That's longer than the average running back's career.
That's how you get to 100,000 yards passing.
Yeah. Well, also performance. Scotty, what is it? Performance underwear? How does he phrase it? Performance engineered undergarments.
Yeah, we have what is it? Sweat wicking technology, bioengineered, designed to keep your nuts cool and warm.
You don't have any proof that it doesn't help,
depending on the undies you get. Well, it's actually of note, too, because the entire scoring around the NFL is down this year. And I wonder if it's not Tom Brady that fucked the curve up, because he's scoring like nothing, right? And they're all dropping everything, like you said. So it's kind of impressive. Maybe Tom Brady has fucked the curve up for the entire NFL scoring.
Yeah, it could be. But I think that the era of the golden quarterbacks is over, though, too, right? I mean, you just mentioned that Justin Fields is an all-star. Great, but he's a rushing quarterback, and I know that I should be impressed with 178 yards, but the fact of the matter is I'm not. If he drops back, that defense goes to cover receivers. It's easy for quarterbacks of his caliber to pick up 75, 80 to 100 yards a game. It's almost impossible to stop that from happening. What I'm not seeing, and Russell Wilson's another guy that's dropped off, right, in his production. The Drew Breeses, the Peyton Mannings, the guys who air it out. I mean, Stafford's looking fucking off this year. And I'm also seeing, and I said to you, Scotty, when we were talking this morning, I haven't seen the stats, but it feels anecdotally like there's way more dropped balls this year than I can remember for a long time. Like just fucking stone hands. It's
Rodgers is at a ton. I mean,
right. So, and he's had a little bit of a dip in his production, but yeah, it's a valid point, Scott. But this is, what do you blame? What is the source of that? What is the root? I really don't know. Are the quarterbacks throwing it badly? Are they not putting it into a place where these guys can catch it? Are these receivers just not fucking hauling it in the way that they used to? I don't know.
You wonder if it's a generational thing. Like maybe some of these younger guys are more millennial than Gen X.
Oh, you think they're soft? It's funny. Soft bodies, hard hands. Soft minds, hard hands.
It's just a thought. I mean, maybe. I mean, I've seen them at work. Some of them just don't try that hard.
You want to
traditional pocket passers, as you know them, I think are kind of a dying breed. You're just going to get the guys like Mahomes and Josh Allen that do their best work outside the pocket and on the edges, and because that's what kills defenses. These guys that are immobile in the pocket, that are sitting ducks to these super freakish fast, edge rushers and blitzes, they have no chance. So, I mean, these mobile guys are kind of what you're going to see for the next however many years. So.
Scotty, I want to go back to your point. It was clear that there were people in your work that weren't carrying their weight. Do you want to call out anyone specifically?
No, not even on my shift, actually.
Very good.
Smart man.
Yeah, it's interesting analysis, Trevor, with the drop back passers. I miss the golden age, the Steve Youngs. I mean, Tom Brady is kind of the last of the dying breed. There are a few other that come close to it. I guess Kirk Cousins is kind of in that vein. He's not nearly as effective as they are, but he is not a highly mobile guy.
No, he's a pocket passer for sure. Absolutely.
So I just wish he was a bit better than he is. We'll get into the Viking situation. I am still not impressed. I still would say that this hashtag the worst 7-1 team in the history of the NFL, or at least the most suspect. I said maybe worst is the wrong adjective, but they are highly suspect, or as my kids would say, and it drives me nuts, sus. Because we've reduced everything down to one fucking syllable now.
See? Lazy.
Thank you.
Sure.
Lazy. Lazy.
Or efficient. Maybe that's efficient.
If you have no margin for error whatsoever.
T. Was that the Vikes?
T.
Yeah.
By the way, T is true. So you guys hear me say that from now on. I'm using the lingo that the kids use. We don't say true. Now we say T, which are both
T
one
or
syllable. Fewer words, letters, I mean.
I guess. Compact that shit.
I don't like
I got things to do for TikTok.
Sound like a dad already, Jamison. By the way, I would love to ask, I was going to ask you in the intro, any nuggets come out of your parenting class, things you didn't know, things that blew your mind, questions you might have for those of us who have birthed children?
Not really. Just a lot of security on making sure you get the right baby. It was pretty surprising.
Just that you bring the right one home.
They go to different lengths to make sure you get the right baby. That's smart.
I'm sure yours will have the biggest penis.
Obviously.
Keep an eye out for
Probably.
that. Yeah,
I mean, look at
we
that
think.
nose.
Yeah.
The kid's dick will enter the room before he does.
Always a good thing. All right. So nothing. What about anything that you were like? This is something that a kid does that you were kind of shocked by. Anything tweak your melon?
No, not necessarily. It was a lot about breastfeeding, so that was lots of fun to learn about.
Did you use the little play thing, trying to get a latch onto your teat?
No.
Do you watch the breastfeeding videos? Those can be kind of.
There was a few. Yeah.
Were you aroused watching any of those videos?
Was he aroused?
It didn't happen to me either. I swear.
It doesn't look like it.
Is that an areola? Now you've got my attention.
Yeah, now you just got to be comfortable with breastfeeding in public, as you should be. So rock and roll.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Comfortable what?
I'm just fucking with. I know David sometimes gets irritated with people.
Scott identifies as a feminist. Okay, so we've talked about the dropsies in Tampa, though I think it's dropsies in the NFL. Does anyone agree to that, or they disagree that there's been it feels like more drops, or am I off in my perception?
Yeah, it's part of the overall sloppiness of every game. It's been bad, and the reffing, the coaching. It's just been a bad product, but hopefully down the stretch it kind of works its way out to the better side. So
the bad coaching, and they got him slinging the ball in the wrong situation. They can't run more than a couple yards on average. Most of these teams, RBs. It's a different product. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Scotty, what do you want to cover? Ain't that a bitch, Mr. Nyberg?
Well, we talked about the Raiders' third loss of the season after leading by at least 17 points.
What is that?
And that's
how can that happen?
It's embarrassing.
Maybe one. Is it? Can you blame?
Yeah,
coaching?
second half adjustments. They get smashed every game with second half adjustments.
Is that what
they
it's
killed
happening?
The Jaguars in the first half. They didn't even go to Devontae in the second half. He had one catch for 0 yards. Unacceptable after he killed them in the first half.
Yeah, they paid him a lot of money too. I think they throw it. Now that's a guy who typically catches the ball. Yep.
Ask Rodgers how good he is. He's missing him a bit this year, I'd say.
I'm saying in jest when will McDaniels rejoin the Patriots, but let's be serious for a minute. Does he make it to the end of the season? And if he does make it to the end of the season, is he coming back next year?
It's a good question.
And is this the opportunity for John Gruden to get his job back?
That's a no. That one we know. But it's hard to see him coming
Carr
back.
publicly called out McDaniels, not by name yesterday, but said he's going to have a talk, which he's the most pro Raiders guy you'll ever hear. The guy's just a great teammate.
How great, Trevor, would it be? Because I know that Gruden and Carr are neighbors. Like if on Monday morning, fucking Carr just goes over there in his robe and they just sit and fucking just complain about Josh McDaniels and all the ways they're getting fucked.
I feel like that actually happens.
Little chicory in your coffee there, Derek. You bet, John.
I mean,
listen what this cocksucker did yesterday.
Or if fucking Carr's out there mowing the lawn, Gruden dips his head over there with notes, like passes him like a fucking thing of notes, because he's got nothing else going on.
Chucky's become a conspiracy theorist who never leaves home now. He's just got a robe on all day.
But seriously, how great would it be because Gruden is, I mean, if you're looking at tape, this is a guy that breaks things down pretty well, but how great would it be if he's just passing fucking handful of notes to fucking Carr about what's going on? And in a shadow coach is actually starting to run this organization from his den.
Maybe it's more of one of those signaling butt plug situations. It is in Vegas.
Seriously, how great would it be? Fucking put a pair of AirPods in, connect it to your phone on the sidelines, and fucking Chucky's just calling in the plays to Carr in the huddle, and he's just completely ignoring what McDaniels
is flipping pages. What the fuck is going on here? This is not what I'm calling.
Is this thing working?
It's not even in the playbook.
Are you hearing me?
He's calling Spider Trap Banana 2, Banana 3, Banana 4. God bless you.
Spider Trap Banana, man.
And then you said, Scotty, please elaborate on Falcons' boner play to cough up a win.
Oh, I think there was an interception and then just an open field, open hand fumble.
Trevor Eckler fumbled and they picked it up and then they refumbled it back and the Chargers repicked it up and then kicked the game-winning field goal.
No way that should have happened. For sure.
No, I was one of the few picked the Falcons, and I would have been in contention with you this week, Jamison, on that one.
Yeah, no, they should have won it actually.
All right, so that's that. A couple of tidbits here. Green Bay failing in the front office as much as they're failing on the field, added no receiver help for Aaron Rodgers whatsoever, which leads me to believe that they're ready to get rid of him. They don't want to invest in him. I think they want to take this team, break it down, and rebuild it again, and I don't think that Aaron Rodgers has any place in that. The tea leaves tell me this. Mr. Wall, do you agree or disagree?
I think I do have to agree with that. I mean, I heard that they try to get 4 or 5 different receivers for him, and they all fell through, but at some point, if you want to make a good, good team out there, you got to get them. Yeah, get somebody. But no, it's pretty embarrassing. It's time to move on and start fresh. You know what? Lil Wayne comes on and says they should have traded Rodgers, and it's real.
How did he become a Packers fan, by the way? The guy's from
I don't know,
Louisiana, right?
Not sure about that one, but
I don't have an answer.
Isn't Brett Favre from Louisiana?
Mississippi. Yeah.
Maybe they both like volleyball.
Yeah.
They both like volleyball. I haven't heard anything on that. That must be ongoing and investigating right now with that scandal.
Yeah, I assume he's back channeling and figuring out a way to keep that out of the public eye, as it were. So 100,000 passing yards for Mr. Tom Brady. Will it ever be broken?
No.
I don't see it ever being broken
hard
either.
To see that, yeah.
Because he might play next year and get to like 105,000.
That's an obscene amount of yards. I mean,
it's a lot.
They throw more today than they used to, but they still can't. The longevity is amazing.
Well, the way these receivers are dropping,
it's getting hit every other play. Even when you're getting thrown, you get knocked down a lot too. No. So physically, a lot of these guys can't just keep healthy because you might break your arm falling down on nothing.
Well, we also haven't considered the outcome of the midterm election. If things don't go the right way, there could be a full-blown civil war, which might end football as we know it anyway. So this might be the last season. So enjoy it. Smoke them while you got them, boys.
Heard that.
Commanders, looks like, I don't know what happened. Maybe Irsay, though my money is on Jerry Jones. Someone pulled a power play on Snyder and convinced him to fucking get out of this league and sell this team. He's asking a cool $7 billion. I don't have his original asking price, but I'm assuming he's going to see some return on that original investment. So they're up for sale right now. Bezos has been touted as a potential buyer. Kevin Durant, who I do not like, has been asked to join whatever group is going to buy it, as I assume a minority owner, because he doesn't have nearly that kind of money. So I guess the question is...
I think Jay-Z was in there too, maybe?
Yep, I think you're right.
Yeah, well, isn't that a conflict of interest? Doesn't he own like a sports agency? Rock Nation or whatever it's called? Isn't that his?
That's why he had to sell the Brooklyn Nets, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how that works, but I mean, if you had to choose between being a sports agent and owning an NFL franchise, which I've heard is the closest thing to being knighted in America, is the ownership of an NFL franchise. It's the hardest thing to buy.
In 1999, Daniel Snyder bought the DC franchise for $750 million.
A tenfold return.
Just a little 10x.
Borrowing $350 million to do so. Now it's worth 4.2. This is an old thing here, but yeah, if he's asking $7,
ask at $7. And I think that there's a couple of things that new owner could do. A, destroy the Commander's name, destroy the whole IP. Take this as an opportunity. It's only been a season. Like, let's start over. What if we call it the Washington Prime? If Bezos buys it, he calls it the Washington Primes, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Would they be a bunch of numbers?
Yeah, and then during the football game, like he's got technology that like has lightning deals that get projected on the field. So they're running
every time so and so scores.
Yeah, $15 off organic spatulas.
You know what the final straw with Snyder was? It wasn't any of the embarrassment or the sexual harassment. It was no one was going to build him a stadium because no one wants to be associated with him and that team right now. So
he also had no allies in the league either that were going to help fucking move the mud for him. He's alienated himself. So whatever file he had on people. Again, Jerry Jones called in a couple of favors with Mossad, whoever worked for Harvey Weinstein, went to work. Dan Snyder realized he was up Schitt's Creek and being outflanked. He's now selling the team, and the poor bastard's only going to make about $6.5 billion. Which,
what a shame.
Which, by my estimation, I mean, he could build lots of locker rooms and showers and just fucking watch cheerleaders naked for the rest of his life, settle out all the lawsuits, and still have probably $3 or $4 billion left over. It's a
I was going to say, hopefully all the restitution's about $7-8 billion at least.
Yep.
So.
If I invite Deshaun Watson over, have a massage party, it'll be wonderful. Who else would we want? I think Bezos buying it is interesting. What if Elon Musk went after it and just fucking and another thing that just absolutely drove the liberal Democrats of the United States insane. So now he's got the cars. Now he's got Twitter. He's got Tesla. He's got SpaceX, and now he owns the Washington
Football Commanders.
Yeah,
the Washington Teslas.
He'd
fit in with the NFL good old boy club. That's for sure.
He would, right? It would be
the Washington Musks.
Yeah. I don't know who else could buy it.
The Musketeers.
Maybe Apple.
Oh, nice, Jamison.
The Musketeers?
Yeah.
That's not bad. Better than Commanders.
It is better than
Name's still better than Commanders. Okay, so the power rankings are out. I'm not interested in so much the list, but Pro Football Talk officially has the Minnesota Vikings as the second best team in the NFL. Behind the Philadelphia Beagles, I believe, is who's number one. So I guess the question is there a case to be made for Vikings at number two?
Top 5, but 2.
Kansas City's definitely better than
Minnesota. They got him better than KC, better than Buffalo.
We'll find out next
those
week.
Teams are definitely better than the Vikings.
If they beat Buffalo on Sunday, number 2 team in the league, they got to be.
I still say
you got to give them their due then. I mean, Allen, is he going to play?
That's the big question.
I don't know.
Who's Allen?
Look, in the end, they're winning, and it's not perfect. It's definitely not satisfying. It's nail biting and annoying, but they're winning, and I'm finding it harder and harder to bitch about it. Which
I will bitch about it. It's an average.
No, I know.
It's a So here's the problem with the Vikings right now. They're not beating good teams. They're beating mediocre teams, and they're doing it with an average margin of victory of 5.6.
It's hard to argue that, though. Look at the Philadelphia Eagles schedule. They've had 5 teams that were terrible that they've beat.
It's a good point.
But they're beating them convincingly.
We are beating ours, just beating them.
So
they whooped the Vikings too, heads
and they did,
so.
and I think that's the thing that makes me perceive this differently is the Vikings, when they played a quality team, got absolutely fucking trounced.
Houston played Philly pretty good there a couple weeks ago, didn't they? I mean, they lost like they should have.
A short week, 3 days rest. I mean, it was, I wouldn't read too much into it. It was on the road too. I wouldn't read that much into it.
So anyway, it is what it is. It's 5.6 points. If they can beat Buffalo, and listen, if this is a grinder team, a la the Ravens that won the Super Bowl with Ray, what's his name? Ray
Lewis.
Thank you, Ray Lewis, a couple years ago. So be it. There's some echoes of that quality defense. I think Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback than Trent Dilfer.
Dilfer.
When
Dilfer
won back in the day.
You're right, yeah.
But they're modeled kind of similarly. They kind of do the job the same way. The Vikings defense does impress me. Zadarius has been one of the greatest acquisitions in the Vikings history. Not as good as Jared Allen pickup from Kansas City, but he's mighty fucking good. Danielle Hunter still looks amazing on the other side. Harrison Smith's playing good ball.
Peterson looks good too, I think.
But yeah, the secondary looks good. Kendricks is a monster. He's all over the place all the time. Mr. Dependable. He's always there. He's like Cal Ripken. He's fucking never gone, and he's just always getting it done. So, Jesus Christ, I dated myself. Cal Ripken. My fucking 8 guys in play.
No, this could all come crashing down on Sunday. I'm
Let's find
worried.
out. It's the litmus test. We're gonna know. And by the way, if we lose by 3 points, I'm not gonna shit on this team. If we play them tight and it goes down to the final fucking couple plays and we lose and we play hard, so be it. That happens.
Yeah,
that's any given Sunday shit.
If we lose to Buffalo like they lost to the Jets, I'll be okay with that.
If we lose to Buffalo by fucking 17, 21 points, we got problems.
It should be a closer.
And I don't want to see fucking Kirk Cousins dancing on a fucking airplane. I want his head hung low, son of a bitch. And last thing we'll talk about before we get into the picks, just you're kind of halfway through MVP candidates, Mr. Jamison. Who do you got?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know.
Jalen Hurts, huh?
Hurts, yeah. I guess
Micah Parsons.
I want to go with Tua, somebody like that. If he went to miss those games, he's been outstanding this year.
Josh Allen,
somebody off the grid a little bit.
Yeah. It's usually a quarterback.
Hurts, Mahomes, Allen are probably the top 3.
Right. No, at this
Tua, Burrow.
Can Kirk Cousins go into that? He's doing what he needs to do to get him to win.
I don't think so.
Is he at least in the discussion? Okay, he's not there. He's not sexy enough. All right, I agree. How about you, Mr. Hills? What do you got? What's your MVP? Your MVP candidate right now? Give me one.
In order, I'd go Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen right now.
Okay, Scotty.
I'm hard pressed to disagree with that, Trevor. Absolutely, it's good. It's always quarterback, and it's going to be one of those 3.
Yeah, I would probably agree. I would think that Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen. I don't know. I don't know about Jalen Hurts yet. I don't know how well they've been tested yet.
What about Lamar Jackson? He's got to get thrown in the mix, right?
He's probably
top
5, 6. Yeah, he's up there.
I don't know. He's scrambling quarterbacks. I just can't vote for him.
Yeah, but he has like 7.8 yards per carry, which is the most since 1942 or something.
Otto Graham.
It's unreal.
I just pulled that name out. Did he play then? Did he play
football?
He's
in the mix. He's in the mix, Lamar Jackson. And I think I was my actual pick earlier.
As is Geno Smith. He's got to be like in the top 8 right now. He's having an amazing season.
Wouldn't that be something? Geno Smith, MVP.
Kevin O'Connell, Coach of the Year candidate?
He has to be.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Pete Carroll, Dable, him, Robert Saleh.
Yeah, these are good.
Ooh, Saleh's that's a good pick.
Good pick.
The Jets could do
a
nice.
Lots going on. Whoever that boy is out in Buffalo, that head coach looks like Bill Burr
Sean
a little
McDermott,
bit. Yeah.
He does look like Bill Burr.
I wonder if they're related. Probably get angry the same way too. Well, anyway, that's any other things that we want to talk about. Anything that surprised you halfway through this year NFL season, Mr. Wall?
Why do you always got to start with me?
Because you were gone last week.
Okay, fine.
Making up for lost time.
I think the biggest surprise that everyone would agree was Aaron Rodgers and the Packers.
Not looking good.
Yeah.
Lousy haircut.
If anyone would have guessed 3 and 6, I would have said fuck you. But
yeah,
they're there.
All right, Mr. Nyberg.
The Vikings 7-1 is.
I was not expecting that. I would echo that. I'll mirror your sentiment. I was prepared. Listen, I bet, and I've already lost. A bet with a dude. I'm gonna have a fancy steak dinner. I said they won't win 7 games all year at the beginning of the season.
Oh wow!
He texted me after last week. He goes, "When and where, bitch?"
Ask him to buy out. Ask him to buy out now for like a nice little Denny's.
I should.
Breakfast.
Yeah. So we'll get that figured out soon. All right. So that is that. All right, Mr. Nyberg, are we ready to get into this pick segment or what, my boy?
Absolutely.
All right, let me find my little
the chime.
Dingy.
Thursday night, we have Atlanta facing their divisional rival, Carolina, who is just wacky. I think they're going to go back with P.J. Walker again, even though that asshat got on the field last week.
They said Baker's starting.
I thought I read today that they were going to stick with Walker. My bad. Thanks, Trevor. In any event, Atlanta still has the line visiting at 3 right now. The bot has picked the Falcons, and so have I.
Yeah. Not a very sexy game. I don't. It's grilled cheese for lunch because that's all that's in the fucking fridge and that's all that's on the counter, and you got a little bit of butter left. So you eat it. It'll get the job done. Atlanta, there's really nothing more I'm going to add to this.
Yeah, no, I think Atlanta has looked pretty good, actually. They've contended in every game, and they got Patterson back, and he had another good game, and I think they'll win this one pretty easily.
Escordero had, what, 2?
Yep.
Falcons across the board here. They played a fun one a couple weeks ago. Atlanta's still fighting for the division title with the Bucs right now, and I think they'll win an ugly, horrible game. But yeah,
it's like David said, it's grilled cheese, but apparently the rest of the division only has grilled cheese too.
Trevor put some capers on it, sex it up a little bit though.
That's those Vegas buffets. Seattle should be visiting Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has the line at home by 2.5. I'm actually surprised.
No, this game's in Germany.
Oh, that's my bad. Yeah. You're right. And that one is at Allianz Field, something like that.
It's a long flight for the Seahawks, I'll tell you that.
The bot and I have both picked the Seahawks. I know Tampa Bay started look good at end of last week, but sorry, David. I'm not going to get on that wagon just yet.
I am. I think that this game meant something. There's something that I don't know if you saw the press conference. Tom Brady glided to the podium, and he didn't even wait for a
Dracula.
All he said was, "That was fucking awesome." I think that this team needed it. I think that he needed it. I think they were playing tight. I've watched their last couple of games, at least the highlights of them. They just don't feel like they're having fun. They don't feel loose. I think that this got that off their backs a little bit, and I think that Tom's already banging somebody else. He just looks good. He looks happy again. So I don't know if he's moved on. He went down to fucking Argentina, found himself another 6-footer. I don't know what happened. Maybe he got back together with his ex that was on Law and Order. Not a bad looking gal. Probably
is that Angie something.
Yeah, Cameron? Much more understanding of his career and his goals. So I am going to take Tampa Bay, and I think that they're going to cover that spread, and I think that Tom Brady's going to have a very good game in Germany.
Yeah, why not? What do you think, Dad?
That's
Jamison.
I hate when I agree with David, but I think Tampa Bay's rolling. I think they did something good, and no, I do think that they have a really good game against Seattle, and they'll cover that too.
I think also the equipment guy, get 100 cans of Stickum. Just fucking hammer these hands before they go on the field. And by the way, I think Kyle Rudolph will get more involved as well. It sounds like they've been really working him in this week in some of these practices. So I think he's going to see a little bit more time. And Scotty Miller is going to get the ball all day. He's found his new Edelman, his new Amendola. It's Scotty Miller. Yep. He's going to be all over the field on Sunday.
I like the Bucs here too.
Yes.
I'm surprised as well. I feel like Tom's gonna find his Elsa from the Last Crusade, and he's gonna be happy when he's over in Germany.
Nice.
And, so she turns out to be a Nazi stooge. Am I right?
His Fräulein. Yeah, it just feels like everything's kind of starting to gel now for the Bucs with that miracle win last week, and I think they're gonna expand on that, and they're gonna get a big win here in both the NFC and in the division here because they need to take that division down, and I think it's time. I think the Bucs are going to go on a roll now.
Yeah, and as an observation, I think that they're suffering for not having Bruce Arians on the sideline. Todd Bowles is not a good coach. He has not historically been a very good coach.
Yep.
And so I think that they're going to have to figure out something, but don't be surprised. I'm blanking on his name, played quarterback, the offensive coordinator.
Byron Leftwich.
Thank you. I think Byron and Tom clearly got something out. That's a long embrace. I think that Byron's just going to have to step up and start driving this team. Somebody's got to do it. Bowles comes off as apathetic to me on the sideline. He doesn't seem interested overly in what's happening. Very passive. Byron seems like he's fired up. He gets into it. I just think he's much more of a right fit with that team. So bring the chemistry.
Players coach.
Come on, Tampa Bay.
Feels like Tom might be coaching the team now for the rest of the year.
Very well could be.
Running what he wants to do type of thing.
He's seen more tape than any of those dudes. Let him call those plays. Let him be Peyton Manning.
All right. In the Igniter game of the week, we have Minnesota visiting Buffalo. Buffalo has a line of 6. Started a little bit higher, but after their loss to the Jets, got down to 6. I have picked the Buffalo Bills, and so has the bot. I don't like this game to pick, personally. It could go either way. Yeah, what do you think, David?
I have judged this game dispassionately. This has been about analytics and facts and data and conversation. And when you take all those things into account, I think that the Minnesota Vikings are built to beat this team right now. Right? The defense swarms. Josh Allen is not going to be able to do it the defensive ends are fast. I know that Allen's big, but we're bigger and we're faster. They're going to be able to contain him, and if he comes out, they're going to punish him all day long. He's already hurt a little bit. I'd be surprised if he does play, if we knock him around a little bit, we knock him right out of the fucking game. So I don't think he's going to be the Josh Allen of the last 7-8 games. I think this is going to be a tightly contested one. It's going to be close, but these fucking Vikings seem to be just perfectly built for these tight games going into the fourth quarter. So I'm taking the fucking Vikings.
Nice.
It's a shame. I think hell froze over because I'm agreeing with David once again. I don't think Josh Allen's going to play what he's used to, and I think that the Vikings take advantage of this one. And I think if they meet again later in the year, Buffalo might pull it out. But right now, I give Vikings the edge.
Buffalo can't stop the run.
No, I like Buffalo pretty big here. They're a great home team. They're much better at home than they are on the road. I think this is a statement game for them after they got embarrassed last week, and I think they win by double figures. Sounds like Allen's going to play, but I feel like the uncertainty is built into that 6.5 line. I feel like if we knew he's playing, it'd be closer to 8.5, 9. I like the Bills quite a bit in this game.
By the way, is Patrick Peterson going to take Stephon Diggs, I assume?
Whoever is going to get just torched all game, I feel like.
That's going to be a fun matchup. We'll see. I think Stephon loses his cool a little bit. He's going to be so eager to fucking burn his former team. I think the emotions are going to be riding high. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Vikings are going to take it.
Problem is they got Gabe Davis on the other side.
Well, I don't think we need to talk about his sexuality. That's not important.
We have the Lions visiting Chicago. Chicago has the line at home by 3. Divisional smackaroo. The Detroit Lions have been looking a little bit better, beating the Green Bay Packers, but not a lot better. And
it's nothing to brag
I've gone with Chicago. Yeah, I've gone with Chicago here. The bot loves the Lions for some reason. But in Chicago, I'm going to go with Chicago on this one with the Lions. Sorry. What do you think, David?
I think Detroit's been working out. They've been eating right, but they still have a small dick. I'm taking Chicago. Justin Fields is going to run all over the place. Look for another 100-plus yards on the ground. Detroit can't stop him. And I was wrong about Fields. I didn't know if he was going to be the answer, but if he continues to develop the way that he's going to have, and I hate comparisons to the Michael Vick stuff, but the thing that Vick had is he could throw a bomb, a laser, and he could run past all the defenders. I remember when he did it to Minnesota. I think it was overtime or towards the end of the game, and I'm like, is this fucking Madden football I'm watching? Is this Steve Young? So I think that Justin Fields is well on his way to being a very good quarterback, and I think he's going to have a breakout game against Detroit. I don't think this is going to be close. I think 3 points is an insult. I think Chicago walks away in a landslide.
Interesting. I think on paper Detroit's the better team overall, but I think the Soldier Field's hard to play at, and I think the Bears will pull this one out, squeak this one out, and Fields will do just enough.
Love the Bears. I'm actually very worried about them in the future here. Both them and the Lions. I feel like the Packers next year are going to be the worst team in the division coming into the season. But
Amen.
The Bears got a great core going of young players led by Fields, and like Jamison just said, Soldier's a real tough place to play. And I feel like Chicago's on a great trajectory right now. So I like the Bears big in this game.
All right, Den at 10. Denver Broncos visiting Tennessee Titans. Titans have the line at home by 3. Personally, I think that should be a little bit higher. I've gone with the Titans, and the bot has visited Denver for some reason on that one. Tennessee's tight. They're tough. Vrabel's a good coach. I think they're going to rock this one. What do you guys think?
I think that Denver's a shit team, and Vrabel might be tempted to suit back up and fucking get a couple of snaps in there and relive his former glory. I'm taking Tennessee. There's very little else to say about this one.
Yeah, Tennessee all the way. They actually probably should have beat the Chiefs last week even. They're an excellent team, and I think they'll handle them handily in Denver here against Denver.
Yeah, that was as impressive performance as you'll get in a loss. I loved what I saw from the Titans, and I think Derrick Henry's just going to run it down Denver's throat. And they do, however, need Tannehill back because Malik Willis is not it. So they're a lot better with Tannehill in, and one of the best teams in the AFC clearly with him. So I like the Titans quite a bit in this game.
Aaron Rodgers in Tennessee next year. All right. We got Jacksonville visiting Kansas City. Kansas City has a nice fat line of 9.5. And I have gone with them. No shocker there. Jacksonville looked good last week, I thought. Figured it out. Not this week, though. Sorry about that. The bot has also picked KC. David?
Yeah, much like Tom Cruise in Days of Thunder, a lot of promise, but Rubbin's racing and Kansas City's coming out with a W here.
Yeah, not much else to say here. Jacksonville's a good team, but not Kansas City status, so go Kansas City.
Yeah, Mahomes won't be thrown 68 times in this game. I look for a little more balance in Kansas City to win comfortably in this.
Yeah, Pacheco and them, they'll be running. All right, we got Cleveland visiting Miami. Jacoby Brissett goes back to his former team. Miami has the line 4. I have picked Miami, and so has the bot. I think this will actually be a pretty fun game to watch. A lot of passing, a lot of defense, or rather, attempted defense. What do you think, David?
I think that you say it'll be a fun game to watch. I'm sure they won't be rolling out the welcome mat for Jacoby in Miami. There's going to be very little nostalgia. It may be fun to watch, but I don't think this game necessarily means a whole lot, and I really have no interest in watching it. That being said, Tua looks sharp. Tyreek Hill, I think, is also probably in the MVP conversation. And so I think it's clearly Miami's game to lose, so I'm going with Miami.
Yeah, I don't think Cleveland stands a chance. Miami all the way.
Yeah, high-scoring game, contrasting styles. Cleveland likes to run. Miami likes to pass all over the place. But too many weapons in Miami. I think they win here, going away.
These games are pretty easy to pick so far. What do you think of that?
We'll all be wrong.
All right.
Well, we're at about the halfway point here, so I'll just highlight that the teams on bye are Baltimore, Cincinnati, New England, and the New York Jets. David, you wanted to talk about the Vikings' second half of the season a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's worth talking about. So we're 7-1, and I think that it has been a generous schedule, to say the least. When we played Miami, Tua was hurt, highly concussed. So we had the shitter back up, so we won that game. We squeaked out wins against Chicago. We squeaked one out against Detroit. Did the same thing to Arizona, so on and so forth. The game against Philly has left a bad taste in my mouth. So what I thought we would do is talk a little bit about
Should we just go through the games on the schedule left?
I think so. Let's go game by game. I want your guys' thoughts around what is a victory and what is a loss, and let's just do a quick analysis of this. So this Sunday we've got Buffalo. Right now we're split down the middle. Who's going to win this one? This could go either way. I call it a win. You guys call it a loss. So we're not – this one we're unsure of, okay? So let's count that as a loss because we're not sure. Okay. Is that fair? When
that's the smart money in the league right now, I would think.
Right? Okay. So then we played so that's a loss. So, Scotty, can you mark these down? Against Buffalo, that's a loss. Then we've got Dallas. I think Dallas is going to play us tough. This is another good team. I say that they can win that one.
Did you say Dallas was a loss? Sorry,
Buffalo's a loss. We're on to Dallas right now.
Okay.
Trevor, what do you think? Against Dallas, what
is that game in Minnesota?
That is at Dallas.
What's that? I like Dallas if it's in Dallas.
Okay. Jamison?
In Dallas? Yeah.
I think it's a toss-up, but I would go Minnesota.
Okay. Scott, where would you sit on that?
Depends on who's quarterbacking, to be honest with you. I think Dallas will probably win at home, though.
Okay, so we're split. I think that's to Trevor's point, they're playing. That is a 50-50 for me that it could be a win or a loss. So we'll count that one as a loss. New England. This is another game. I'm not sure. New England is weird. They play hard and they look good one week, and then their quarterbacks forget what the fuck they're doing. I don't know if they're staying up late playing the new Call of Duty. By the way, the new God of War Ragnarok drops tonight at 11 p.m. Maybe they're amped about that. They're not studying their playbook. So I don't know. New England, I think they win that one. To me, that feels like a W. They should win it.
I think so for sure.
It's going to be a tough game. Very tough game.
Agreed. Tough game. But let's give that one to them. Okay, so now at this point, so we're 8-3. Now we go to play the Jets, which if you had asked me in the beginning of the year is an automatic win. Now I'm not so sure. So now we got the Jets. Quite capable. They could probably lose that one. What do we think?
Great defense. One of the best defenses in the league. They definitely can lose that one.
So Questionable? We don't know. Against Detroit, should be a win.
Yep.
I think other than that New York game and maybe, no, that's it. I think that New York Jets game is the hardest one from here on out because we play Detroit, Indianapolis, New York Giants, Green Bay.
At Chicago is going to be very tough.
Don't jump ahead, Scotty. You're rooting the bit. So Indianapolis should be the win. So Detroit and Indianapolis should be wins. Though Minnesota is notorious for playing down to the level of its competition, this could be one of those games where Indianapolis all of a sudden is up by fucking 3 touchdowns and we just collapse. I'm going to say they should win Detroit. They should win Indianapolis. New York Giants, similar to the Minnesota Vikings, they're punching above their weight class a little bit. That's a toss-up.
By the way, the Dallas game is at home, so that changes my pick. I will take the Vikings at home there.
Oh, my bad. Yep, you're right. It is at Minnesota. Okay. So we got New York. Green Bay should be a win. We agree?
Yeah, against Jordan Love.
Okay.
It depends who's playing quarterback.
Yep. And then at Chicago, which has the feeling of the end of season trap game. That's the game that's the game.
I think that's a loss for the Vikings right there.
That's at Chicago. It's going to be cold as shit. That's neutralizes all the speed, neutralizes Jefferson on the edge. It benefits their defense. Yep.
I think based on our predictions on the rest of the season, that Chicago game won't mean as much to us as it will to them. And that is probably, secondary players on that one. What do you think?
It might be resting starters there.
I was just going to say, it's a very good point, Scotty. Depending on if we've already clinched up home field or we're the second seed or whatever we end up being.
With 5 wins left on it, we'll do that.
Take a seat. We don't need Kurt Thuggins snapping hammies in that fucking bitter ass cold. Okay, so what does that put us at, Scotty? If you do a quick tabulation, what does that put us at for a record?
What did you pick for New York Jets on that one? Was that a loss or a win for us?
I'm going to say it's a win. We got to beat the Jets.
Okay, we're going to win the Jets. And then for Dallas, are we split on that one? Did we give them on a loss?
I'm going the Vikings if it's at home. I'm going the Vikings.
I would have to agree with that too. What do you guys think?
Yep. Okay, so based on that, we're only saying they're going to lose 2 on the back end.
So that's 2 more games. So that's 14-3 for this season.
14-3 Minnesota Vikings. Anybody think that can happen?
I think more like 12-5.
Yeah.
So
that's the X factor though, right?
Right.
That should be good for a 2 seed though. So, that's fine. So
anything
they'll be hosting like the Giants or something in round 1.
Anything less than 12-5 is a Titanic moment. We've struck the
they
iceberg.
should be at least 12-5 with that remaining schedule, I would say.
So let's write that down now. Our expectation is 12-5.
Much better than the beginning of the year.
We'll come back to that and towards the end of the season and see how close we are to that number. Let's see how good our powers of prognostication really are. We'll put them to the test. Okay.
They're amazing.
And then I just want to touch on 2 things here. Hawkinson, I was impressed. On quick turnaround, came in, 7 receptions, 70, 80 yards, but played the whole game, which is pretty impressive. Does Irv Smith come back, or is he done?
He's out for the year.
But next year. Is he off this team?
No. Yeah, he won't be. He won't be back.
Yeah, I don't think you can make the case to
not
carry
over Hawkinson
and Irv Smith. Okay. Yeah. And then finally, the Kirk Cousins opportunity. Here's, I can't believe I'm saying this. I might be ready to sign Kirk to a long-term deal here.
Get out of here.
Shut up. It won't last. Your opinion will change in about 48 minutes.
I think actually next Tuesday when we reconvene after Buffalo, it will have changed.
Unless if Kirk Cousins, and this is where I'm going to make my spooky, eerily correct prediction. If Kirk Cousins throws for 3 touchdowns and 375 yards, which I think he's going to, then I think we have to sign him to a long-term deal.
Yeah, he's an MVP candidate if he does that. I would
gotta
say
be, right?
Too. Yeah.
And by the way, you're also
he won't win,
you're
but
also
he's got to be
that,
up to at least in the top 10.
That Josh Allen plays that whole game. I don't think he's going to. I think it's collarbone season. I think the Vikings are taking out another premier quarterback. I mean, I know.
Well, Barr's not here anymore though to do that.
We could sign him for the game. Short-term contract. Kill Josh Allen's collarbone. All right, so 12-5. Kirk Cousins playing far better than I thought he was going to this year, and I don't know if that annoys me or gives me hope. I really don't. I feel like this season is going to get me at least another 2 or 3 seasons of Kirk Cousins in Minnesota, and I don't know how to feel. If he finishes 12-5 or 13-4, like you have to sign him, right?
It sucks.
Prove us all wrong and go win the Super Bowl, and we'll all love you.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Yeah, if they win the Super Bowl, I'll give them a fucking lifetime deal, guaranteed money. All right, that's it. That's all I got, Scotty. Shall we go back to the picks?
Well, hit the chime, baby.
I'm gonna hit the chime, Bubba.
In a thoroughly uninteresting game, we have the Giants hosting the Houston Texans. Giants have the line 6.5. I have picked the Giants. I do like them, and so has the bot. What do you think, David?
Nothing worth talking about, Giants.
I'm a little pessimistic on the Giants in this one. I think this is one weird one that Houston might actually be able to pull off. They've looked decent.
What's wrong with you?
Don't take it away from Houston. That's I'm gonna go with Houston. I'm gonna go crazy with that one.
Cool. Jamison goes Houston. What do you think, Trevor?
Yeah, Dable coming off the bye. I like the Giants here by quite a bit. I think Houston's in the tank conversation for one of those top 3 picks right now. So I don't think they're going to be trying very hard to win the rest of the season.
I was going to ask about Cleveland. I forgot. Deshaun Watson comes back when?
Oh, he's suspended for 11 games. So I think it's week 13 after because they have a bye too. So I think it's week 13 he comes back.
And I apologize for not knowing this. Cleveland, are they in the hunt?
Yes.
Yeah, I think they're 3-4. They're 1 game under 500, I think.
So
however many games they played.
Fun hypothetical question. Jacoby's playing well. Cleveland's in the hunt. He comes in. Do we replace Jacoby? I mean, you give him the guy a king's ransom. So do you start him?
We talked about this. Yeah, I mean, I thought about this too, but they're not going to keep him.
They've already announced that he's going to be the starter when he comes back.
Boy, if you're Jacoby Brissett, you got to love that, huh?
Yeah, right.
Playing him tough and getting him there. Doing the job.
Fuck me, right? I took him to a 4-5 record. We held our head above water, and then I'm just thrown to the side, right?
Thanks a lot,
Making Amari Cooper a superstar this season. That's fine. Fuck it. Get the fuck pervert a job.
No big deal. Yeah. Yeah. My wife's a massage therapist. Thanks a lot, Cleveland. Thanks for the respect.
New Orleans is visiting Pittsburgh. New Orleans has the line somehow, 2.5. I have gone with Pittsburgh because they're crazy good at home sometimes like that. And this is perfect. I don't think the New Orleans Saints have any idea what's going on. And the bot does, though. The bot has picked the Saints. What do you think, David?
I think that, listen, when you take 2 players like Ben Roethlisberger and Jerome Bettis and you put them together, it's hard to defeat that. This is a team stacked with world-class talent. Hines Ward never drops the ball. This is a team built top to bottom, the organization, Bill Cowher, well-coached. I think this is clear they're going to win this game. I'm taking Pittsburgh. Also, New Orleans, the acronym or the abbreviation is no. So I will not choose them.
Yeah,
I did see that Hines Ward was coaching in the XFL this year.
Yeah, I'll follow suit. I think Troy Polamalu has a great game. I think he has a couple of interceptions. And I think Pittsburgh does it.
Amazing hair. Love his Old Spice commercials.
I like Pitt quite a bit here. I don't think Tomlin's going to let this team quit, even though this will probably be his first season ever under 500. But I think they have some nice young players, and I think Dennis Allen's a terrible coach, and Orleans is probably going to end up tanking too for a quarterback. So
it's also
I like
a horrible
the Steelers
name.
here quite a bit at home.
Good pick.
In the Igniter Shitter of the Week, we have Indianapolis Colts visiting the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders have the line 6.5. I've picked the Raiders just because they have more talent and seem to be able to execute it more regularly. Maybe Devontae Adams will be playing the whole game.
Wow.
I think Josh Jacobs needs to have one of those 2-touchdown big games here for them to have any kind of relevance for the rest of the season. But the bot has picked them as well. What do you think, David?
I'm far more interested in what John Gruden has been doing. Is he going out? Is he playing golf? Is he getting brunch? Is he hanging out with his old high school buddies? Does he sit alone in a dark room with a clicker just running tape over and over again?
That's kind of what I feel like he does.
Probably.
Yeah.
He's got no job. He's just in there. Like,
no life, just pissed the fuck off, saying shit like, all these guys, all the dirt I got, fucking better hope I don't release it. Because he's just fuming. That being said, I'll take the Las Vegas Raiders. I hate saying that. I liked it better when they were the Oakland Raiders or the Los Angeles Raiders, back to being Oakland Raiders, and now they're in Las Vegas Raiders. This is a team that travels well. Is not playing particularly well, though I hope against Indianapolis they go up like 24-0 and then end up losing in the end. But I'll take
that
Las
could happen.
Vegas. It could.
It could totally
The
happen.
fucking Raiders. I'll take the Raiders.
Yeah, I think the Colts are in free fall. The Raiders have great talent. I think they finally put it together this game and win pretty handily.
Real quick,
Yeah, Raiders are going to fall into a win here. The Colts are another one that are clearly tanking for one of those quarterbacks. So I don't anticipate them winning maybe more than one game the rest of the season. I mean, they fired their coach and hired a guy with no experience other than high school football.
Was just going to touch on that. Jeff Saturday, some people saying bypassing the Rooney Rule yet again. I think that this might be a case where you can actually make it. Like, I mean, I get it. He's got some equity. People know who he is. He's Peyton Manning's favorite center of all time. But how does he get this job with no talent whatsoever, or no experience whatsoever? He's vastly underqualified for this. And maybe they don't care because they're doing the suck for luck bit where they want one of these quarterbacks in the draft. So at this point, kind of like Rachel, was her name Rachel Marin, the owner of the in Major League, just tanking the team to move it to Miami.
Oh, yeah.
Get that quarterback. Oh, shit. I didn't have the dinghy lined up, Scotty. I'm underperforming in my duties.
We got the Cowboys facing off against the Packers in Lambeau. Dallas has the line by 5. I have picked Dallas, and the bot has picked the Packers. I kind of see Green Bay getting their asses smoked on this one. Maybe not, though. This is one. Maybe they right the ship a little bit. What do you think, Jay or David?
It's Dak Prescott. He's not very sturdy. Anything can go wrong. It's cold in Green Bay. He may not play well. I'm being serious when I say this. That cold weather may be the great neutralizer. Dak Prescott doesn't play well in the elements. He just doesn't. And so I'm still going to take Dallas, but this is a game that is winnable for Green Bay. I think they get upset here.
I'm at a loss. I don't know what to do.
No one would judge you for choosing Green Bay. I'm being serious.
Should we come back to you, Jamison?
No, I think I'm going to go with Dallas. I don't trust the Packers. I don't think that they're going to do anything to right this. I think they're going down the wrong hole. So Dallas is going to run all over them. They can't stop the run for nothing.
Yeah, I'm actually excited about Mike McCarthy revenge game here. Going back in to face the guy who lost the job for him, essentially, or wanted him out of town, so they got rid of him. But I like Dallas's defense here a lot. I think they're going to be up Rodgers' ass all game, which he'll probably like. But I like the Cowboys defense to create a few turnovers here and win pretty handily. I think Green Bay's cooked.
Isn't LaFleur the absolute antithesis of Mike McCarthy? He's lean.
Like boomer versus millennial.
Well coiffed, in shape. It's kind of funny.
Well, all of a sudden he looks like a terrible coach now too, right? Because they're losing.
Yeah. It's what happens when Aaron Rodgers is just fucking out to lunch. This guy is just not into what's happening right now.
All right. We got Arizona visiting the LA Rams. Rams have the line at home by 3. I have picked the Rams and the bot has picked the Cardinals. I just don't, the Rams beat the hell out of the Cardinals when they're at home. So that's just kind of what I'm going on. What do you think, David?
I'll take LA. I don't think there's not a whole lot of justification behind it. I think Stafford just gets streaky. This will be one of those games that he does well. Kyler Murray might also catch fire, and they could win. It's a 50-50. I tend to be leaning towards the Rams right now. It's still Cooper Kupp, and the motherfucker is always open. No one covers him. Yeah, so if Stafford can just fucking get the ball to him a couple of times, that's the ball game. So I'll take the Rams.
It might be he's just that good.
That's literally the only way they move the ball anymore is throwing it to Cooper.
Sure, Cooper Kupp. Yeah.
He's Barry Sanders now. He's the only thing they have.
He looks like Jake or Logan Paul though. He looks like the third Paul brother, and it drives me nuts. He needs to shave that fucking beard. It doesn't look good. Trim it down.
No, I think. What do you think? I think this game's a complete toss-up for me. I could go either way. I think I'm going to go with the bigger game by Hopkins here, actually, just because they're throwing him the ball crazily right now, and he's doing well. So I'm going to go Arizona.
I like the Rams, but not because I have any confidence in them. Both these teams are trash. Both these teams were playoff teams last year. But watching Kyler yell at DeAndre Hopkins on the sidelines, I'm like, dude, that's the best player on your team by far. That's not a good look when your quarterback you just signed a $250 million extension and your star receiver fighting already 2 weeks after he got back. I like the Rams at home. I know like a 10-7 game. It's going to be ugly as hell and terrible.
And by the way, DeAndre, allow me to entice you. Come to Minnesota next season. Far friendlier building for receivers. I'd love to have Justin Jefferson and DeAndre Hopkins for Kirky Ice to throw to. Thank you very much. I endorse that.
We have the Chargers visiting San Francisco. San Francisco is at the line at home of 7. I've gone with San Francisco, apropos of Trevor's previously stated things in this program. San Francisco doesn't lose in prime time. So the bot has gone with the Chargers. What do you think, David?
The Battle of California is clearly San Francisco's to lose. They're just a better team defensively, offensively. They're better coached. Better players on the field, too. I know that LA is still suffering for some injuries, so it's just too much to overcome. So San Francisco.
Yep. No, you said it perfectly. I think they use McCaffrey. I can't wait to watch what they do with him. I think they're going to use him all over the field.
Yeah, it should be fun.
I hope he throws a few more balls. I mean, it's just fun to watch. So I'm going to go San Francisco.
Yeah, a bye week to get that playbook more in favor of his talents. I think the Niners absolutely mollywop the Chargers this week. I don't think it's even close.
Nope.
I think the Niners are quite honestly the most talented team in the NFL right now, and I think they're going to get rolling here and probably end up in the Super Bowl. So
wow, interesting. Yeah, let's. So Scotty, we got one last game, and then I do want to ask people's Super Bowl predictions at the halfway point. I think that'd be interesting to know as well.
All right, we do have a divisional matchup for Monday Night Football with Washington visiting Philadelphia. Philadelphia has the line by 11. I've gone with Philly, and so has the bot. I don't see anywhere the Washington gets any points against them on this one, or any wins, excuse me. I've gone with them, and I've gone with 45 for my overall points. That'll be 3 points from Washington and 42 from Philly.
Yeah, listen, I'd love for Tyler Heineke to win this game. I need Philadelphia to cut down a little bit so Minnesota could take the 1 seed, so this path to the Super Bowl can go through U.S. Bank Stadium. I don't think it's going to happen with this one. So I will also take Philadelphia with oh boy. Trevor, if you were to grade the Philadelphia defense 1 to 5, 1 being shit, 5 being stellar, where would you put them?
Well, they got gashed by Dameon Pierce on Thursday. So that's the chink in the armor is their run defense. They're very good secondary, though.
I'm going to go 55 points.
Okay. No, I'm going to go Philly all the way. I don't think Washington stands a chance, and I think 59 points is where we're going to be at.
I like Philly, but it's a division battle. It's going to be an ugly game. I think the Commanders actually have a pretty good defense, and we'll keep it closer than we think. But Philly wins. Scott, what did you say? 45?
Yeah, 45 total.
I'll go with 48.
Absolutely. Prices raised them.
Sweet. Well, there's your week.
All right. So
week
that
10.
being said, early or halfway season Super Bowl predictions. So it sounds like NFC. Trevor, you've got San Francisco. Who's your AFC representative?
I got Niners and Chiefs right now.
Good pick. Scotty?
Niners, for sure. And then on the AFC side, Bills.
Okay. Jamison?
I'm going to go Philly and the Chiefs.
Okay. I'm going to go KC, Minnesota. I think Minnesota actually has a squad that can do it. They can hang in, man, and they just need the chip share and a chance. And it's a weird team. There's starting to be some rumblings that this might be the team of destiny this year. What I like about Minnesota right now is they're not quitting. Like they're going out there and they're grinding it out and they're getting stuff done. The defense is keeping them in it. Cousins is making decent decisions. I'm seeing a lot less of that third down check bullshit. He's getting the ball downfield. Jefferson's a generational talent. He's probably in my mind 1 or 2 best receiver in the league right now. I think you could have that conversation with Kupp. So yeah, Minnesota and KC. I think that'd be a fun Super Bowl to watch. I'd love to try to stop Patrick Mahomes. Be fun to see. All right. Anything else that we want to talk about, gentlemen?
I think that hits it up for a good show this week, sir.
Beautiful. All right. So my last thing that I'm going to say is it is Super Tuesday. And so hopefully you did get out and vote. Now, obviously, many of you aren't going to hear this until after the polls close or tomorrow. So if you didn't vote, I will just say this. So I think last year we had about 44% voter turnout. And typically I shy away from anything else other than sports in this program, tomfoolery and skullduggery, as it were. But I hear a lot of people complain about the way things are, the way that things should be. And it's pretty hard to complain and take you seriously when we've got a mid-40s turnout for voting. It's embarrassing in a democracy. We should be hovering right around 85, 90%. In places like Iraq, I think it hovers closer to 85. And so we're the established democracy, and we try to export that around the world, but our own people to get off their fucking ass to go vote, and it drives me nuts. So do me a favor. If you didn't vote this year, Get out and vote next year. Get involved in the community politics. Go to your school board meetings. Get out there and find a way to make the world a little better place and just not talk about it on Instagram and Facebook, you lazy motherfuckers.
Word.
And that will be the final thing I'll say about it. We appreciate you listening, as we always do. And remember, like, share, send this podcast to your friends, your favorite NFL podcast in all the land. Send correspondence to igntrnetwork@gmail.com, igntrnetwork@gmail.com. We'd love to read your correspondence. My name is David, joined by Jamison, Trevor, and Scott. Sonny should be back next week. Enjoy your slate of games. Be good to one another. And remember, get out there and vote.